Welcome back. Okay, so we have a function now that can get a single record. Let's add the equivalent function that can get, a set of records. I better stop debugging. So we'll stop that and back to handler. So it's going to be very similar to our existing endpoint, except if you call this function, you're calling it without an ID. So you're calling it just like that. The way we call it is actually we want to do a query. Okay, and query's got slightly different parameters. Let me grab an example of the kind of parameter we need. In our case, it's really simple. Bang. So this is basically saying, hey, find me all the records that have the partition key set that way. One thing I do want to mention, one thing that's really great about DynamoDB is, you could also do things like say, hey, and the sort key, starts with something. The sort key contains something. The sort key ends with something. There's a lot of flexibility on how you can filter records using the sort key. But anyways, this is pretty simple. So do I have this correct? I'm saying the partition key is the parameters entity. Yep, that looks right. Okay. Now I'm not 100% sure. I think what I get back might be called items, not item, because it's multiple. You know what? Let's say, I'm going to assume it is, but we're also going to run it in the debugger. And the debugger will tell me if I'm wrong anyways. Okay, that looks not bad. I think that's about right. I'll say records, and then that's still unexpected exception. Okay, let's try running this again. So F5 to run it locally, and it is running. So now I can go back to Postman, and now I should be able to grab a single record. Actually, let's go to portfolio and just try to grab the one portfolio record. Oh, that worked. So I want you to notice a difference too. Now it's returning multiple records, so it's returning an array, right? So this is 0 to many records, and that's a difference. So when I see the single record, it just returned a single object. When I said this, I want multiple records. Well, it's returning an array. And I could say, give me the portfolio item records. Bang, that worked too. Now, for these ones, you'll notice that it's like I seem to be exposing a little bit of internals that I probably don't want to and probably don't need to. The data that we want to pass back is this. The PK and SK, and the fact that this is called payload, that's an internal detail. So I'm going to make another small change so that we just return the data of interest. So going back here, we're going to say, let's see, here's our function, right? And of course we'll do this the functional way. If you get to this point, we're going to try to map that array. And here's what we want to do. And I do prefer to do this on multiple lines. So I'm going to say const JSON. I'll just say response equals record dot items dot map. So for each item, I want to actually grab the payload parameter. Okay, and that is what we want to return. So I'll restart my debugging session, hit F5. So now, let's go back to Postman. And if I send this, I just get back the payloads. That's perfect. And if I say, let's see, what was that called? Nav items? I don't remember. I think it was nav items. Nope. What was it called? It was called nav button. That makes sense. Should have thought of that. Great. Okay. So, looking pretty good so far. We're able to fetch our, fetch an array of data. And if I type in some wrong path, I get back an error. Okay, so once again, actually this one makes sense. So when we do an array fetch, if there are no records, it's still legal. So the fact that we get back an empty payload and a 200, I think that's fine. I would expect that if there are no nav buttons defined, that's exactly what I'm going to get. I don't think I should return a 404. But if I do a single record search, then I do want that 404. So right now, this looks fine. All right, that's looking pretty good. So I hope you join me in the next video. Thank you.